Fuck it. Do it live. Well, hopefully this is working. We'll see. How we doing, everybody? I mean, there's literally no viewers, but that's okay. How we doing, everybody? We're back. It's Wednesday night. A little bit early today, 4 minutes early. I figured I'm always late. I might as well come early one time. Why not, right? See if we can't blow anybody's mind. Hope everybody's having a good hump day. I know I am. I hope everybody had a good holiday, whatnot. That's what she said. There we go. Anyway, guys, we're back. The number to call in, like always, is 573-422-4225. We were going to take our Cummins to y'all for a rebuild. Right on, man. Well, believe it or not, we probably have better options for you. You should just give us a call anyway and just kind of see what we have. I think we're structuring ourselves is going to benefit people, not take away. Anyway, pretty excited for our move here in February. Supposed to close on the place tomorrow or the next day, I think. So I'll make a video on the place here, hopefully in the next day or two. It's quite a bit of an upgrade for us from this place. The crazy thing is, it's the exact same price as this place. It's only 15 minutes away from here, but it's quite an upgrade for us. Oh, could I turn my Acer up to 600 horse safely? I don't know, man. A lot of that really comes down to the guy doing the tune, really. The guy doing the tune plays such a deciding factor in the longevity of whatever horsepower you're trying. I mean, as soon as you go out of the parameters of what the engine was built for, your Acer is most likely built for a 550, and that's the top end of what they engineered it for. Once you start going outside of that, the tune has to become custom, so to speak. And so the odds of you getting a shit tune that tears everything up is pretty freaking high, to be honest with you. Anyway, already got a caller. That was might as well take him and make sure our phone lines are even working. He'll be our tester here. All right, brother, you're on the air. What can we do for you?
Hi, sir. How are you doing today?
Good, man. What can we do for you?
Okay, so I just had just today happened. So I have a T600 Kenworth 05. So I was trying to hook it with a machine and try to pull it, and the whole front end just like ripped out where the steering column and there's where the tow hook goes. I'm just wondering, the whole radiator, A to everything just ripped out, the bonnet, the hood, and everything. My question is, should I rebuild this whole thing, or should I just move to another truck? The engine is good, but it loses all the coolant, and it starts, it moves, and everything. But I'm just getting your opinion. What should I do?
How in the holy shit did you do that? How do you hook up to pull a truck and rip the entire front out of it? I'm sorry to laugh, but what the fuck are you talking about, man? That's crazy.
So it was, we basically haul garbage, and it was stuck in the mud. It was been raining for 2 days, and I try to, usually we get a bump. We go to any other landfill, they bump us. They don't want to pull us. But we go to this another location. They don't want to bump us because it damages the trailer. So they wanted me to hook it and pull it. As soon as I hook it, the whole thing is gone.
Okay, so you had a piece of equipment like a track rig pulling you, is what you're saying?
Yes, sir. Like a big machine, yeah.
Wow, then you were really stuck. Well, most likely, To answer your question, most likely you broke a lot of frame stuff, right? But most of those frame items in the front are replaceable. Those are cross member items, and the frame proper, the one that goes front to back of the truck, that's probably still serviceable. So you're really just looking at buying a few items. I mean, did it destroy the hood or?
The hood is done. The basically where the hook sits, there's like a S cam that is holding the steering like bracket, the steering like a big cylinder of the steering, and then it like droops down, and that's where the hook goes, and it just pulled out the whole thing, the radiator and the front arm for the radiator support arms, everything just ripped out. The hood is done. The arms are done. Everything is like all everything ripped out basically. All the coolant lines ripped out. So nothing happened to the frame rails. It's just the one driver's side, the hook, the bracket, that like hole came like.
I can tell you exactly what I would do. I'm not telling you what I think you should do. I'm going to tell you what I would do. What I would do is I would claim insurance on it. Obviously, I'm sure you're going to do that. And then from there, I would probably take that insurance money and go to a junkyard, because you said it was a T600, right?
Yes.
T600s are a dime a dozen, and just buy the front end off of some junkyard, hood, all the stuff in the front. And I'd go rebuild that thing, and you'll probably end up, because they're going to total that truck, guaranteed. Then you'll end up with a bunch of money in your pocket and a fixed truck, and get back to doing your thing. Take a little bit of elbow grease, but it's certainly not insurmountable by any stretch of the imagination.
I'm thinking that even the turbo, there, and like I don't know what's wrong with it until I go to the mechanic. Yeah, so it could be a total. Yeah, you're right.
Well, your insurance company is going to total it no matter what, right? So you just have to decide whether you take it to a shop somewhere and have them do all that work for you, right? You're probably better off totaling out the truck and going to buy something else. If you're willing to put in some work yourself, you could probably come out quite a bit of money ahead. I never had a single incident, which I had lots of drivers and lots of trucks, so I had lots of incidences, but I never had a single incident that I didn't profit from, because we would do everything in-house. So, they'd total out a truck. I'd always buy the truck back, and then we would fix it all ourselves, and I'd always end up with half the money left over after we fixed up whatever got destroyed. But you have to be willing to do some work, right?
Yes, sir. Thanks a lot. Thanks for your help.
Good luck with that one, man. Have a good night.
You too, brother. Have a good night. Bye.
God, can you imagine being that guy and you're stuck in the landfill and the whole front of your truck just gets ripped right the fuck off? Oh my God. It just, how sick you would be to your stomach. Jesus Christ. Is there any other school of economics? Rothbard, Hayek? Not any that I care for. It's kind of funny. I asked my chat GPT, I said, what is the most logically consistent economic model out there? And I was curious what it would say. And it spun for a while. Then it said Austrian economics. And I was like, holy shit. I couldn't believe it said that. I mean, I knew that, but I didn't think my chat GPT would tell me that. So I was pretty surprised by that. I mean, that is the answer. But anyway, I used to have a show like this where that's all I did was talk about that kind of stuff, which I wish that I could get back to that. But here we do this. It is what it is. Not a big fan of Hayek, though, to be honest with you. I don't think he was as logically consistent as Rothbard by any stretch, or Rothbard's predecessor, Hans Hoppe. I'm a big fan of Hans Hermann Hoppe. But anyhow, we got lots of callers. They're probably like, what the hell is this guy talking about? What's that got to do with my turbo? All right. Man, it's not showing anybody's names tonight, but that's okay. You're on the air, brother. What can we do
Hello?
for you?
Hello?
Yep, that's you.
Hey. Hello?
Yeah, that's you,
Hello?
man. That's you. That's you.
Hey, how you doing? This is D, right? The Big D?
Okay, what can we do for you, man?
Hello? Oh, my name is Eddie. I talked to you a while back for one of my other trucks. But I like to come in to see you. I got a 2008 Pit, a dump truck. And then about a year and a half ago, I did the in-frame rebuild. But now what I see is I'm getting some oil on the coolant. You know?
Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah, I'm here, man. I'm just
Yeah.
I gotta listen to you first, right? And so
Okay, yeah. Well, I just want to make sure you're there because I'm in my house and there's no good inspection here, you know. But yeah, I did this truck. I mean, I own I work on the cars, you know. I own a little a shop, work on the cars, and I about 3 years ago I got to do this trucking thing. So, but I listen to you when you're talking, and you know, I like the way you do things. So I'm willing to drive my truck to your shop. That's what I want to do. I don't know. We should have put a cat on. I was thinking, or just maybe because
this show's for trying to help you diagnose your problems. So, what kind of engine do you have?
okay, I got a Cummins, the dual cam.
Okay, and you're getting oil in your coolant.
Yes.
So the first thing I would, you know, if you brought it to my shop or you called me and I'd rebuilt it and you're telling me what's going on, the first thing I'd want to know is if there's been any kind of event of any kind where you had to add coolant to it in the past 6 months or so. You had to add coolant for any reason at all?
No.
Haven't lost the coolant line, nothing?
Well, yeah. I mean, I changed the hose once. Yeah. Yes.
And why did you change?
Yes, so I had to put a coolant on.
Why did you change the hose?
The hoses was getting, what it is the oil was getting on it too. You know, like the oil gets inside and I think it got soft and then, you know. But this truck, I mean, if I want to, I'm just telling you, I did the in-frame rebuild. I got all the parts from the Cummins place. The only thing that I did wrong, and I know, I send the head somewhere, you know, and then when I went to pick it up, I wasn't too happy about it. But you know, they changed the seal, and I know the bottom part is good. I mean, you know, because I did the bearing, everything is torqued to specs, everything. I even counterbore the engine, you know, like we cut it to like 14,000, whatever. I don't remember exactly, but I know now and then it's got a new oil cooler. It's got it's got a lot of new stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I tend to go towards the oil cooler last, right? Because it's rarely an oil cooler problem. It's not never an oil cooler, but it's rarely an oil cooler. You refurbish the head. You've had some coolant issues, some hose issues. I'm gonna bet 100% that. I'm going to bet that your cylinder head is actually the problem.
That's what I know. That's what I was telling you because, well, what it is I went to get the kit down in Cummins and the upstart, and then I sent a friend of mine to do this head, right? So he dropped it off for me. When I went to pick it up, I mean, I seen the shop, and then I said, oh my God. But the thing is that I went that way because I called somebody else to get a new head. And I said, you know, I'm looking for some, you know, good, not a Chinese. He goes to me, well, they're all Chinese, he said. So he said, I don't know what you're looking for, but they're all Chinese. So,
Well, he was right about
and
that,
I,
but
you know, that's what I want.
I'm not understanding what can I do for you though?
Well, what I can do for I call your shop today. I mean, I've been calling for a couple of days, right? And then they told me they give me this number. They texted to me to say, just call this number 729 Mr. What I want to do is, I don't know if I get a contact with you or you want to give my phone number and somebody will call me from your shop. So I don't know. I just want to talk.
Are you trying to?
You know, and then I want to drive my.
But that's what that's what they were trying to tell you today, is that we wouldn't take on that job for you. That's what they're trying to tell you.
Okay. So you don't. Okay. All right. But the thing is, I mean, I was going to ask you, see if you can build me a CAT engine and pour in there. I know you talked about that before. You say I don't.
That we can do, of course. And you can call back in tomorrow and say that, you know, and ask about that specifically, and they will definitely talk to you about that, right?
Yeah.
All right, brother.
Okay, but which number I call? Because I'm trying to call all kinds of different numbers.
The same one you called today, and they told you can call this number. I was actually in the office when they told you that. I heard them tell you that. That same number.
Oh, you heard them that, yeah.
Yep.
So call that tomorrow and then just talk to somebody.
Yep.
All right.
All right, brother.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Yep. Bye.
All right.
Where can you buy metal pistons for your big cam 400? I don't remember. I swear that we built some of ours with metal pistons. I don't know. You could call us. You could give us a call tomorrow as well. And I think we can. I'm almost positive I have metal piston crowns for those, but you have to call me. I have to look it up to make sure. I don't want to just say, "Oh yeah, I gave those for you," and end up being wrong. Anyhow, we got lots of callers. You know, it goes like that. Some shows we hardly get any, and some shows they just pile up. Can you talk about acceptable pyro temps? I saw you asking that a minute ago. You know, if you talk to Cat will tell you that 1200 is acceptable. And to an extent, that is true. But you can also sit there and hold a truck in a hard pull at 1200 on your pyro, post-turbo, of course. And if you get in a long enough pull, 1200, it's going to burn your shit down, pretty much. So kind of a good rule of thumb, in my opinion, is anything under 1200, you're doing pretty good, and you don't really need to back out of it and get worried about it. And I'm not saying you need to shit your pants over 1200, but I don't think you should sustain. I don't think you should sustain 1200. That's my personal opinion. I've had a couple trucks. You know, in Alaska, you guys got to remember, I mean, we would do long pulls, man. We would do them over and over again, you know, in some of those B models and stuff that I had. You know, I had drivers that were pretty hard on them, burnt some of them up. And, you know, and one driver, you know, asking him later, he's like, well, I had, you know, 1200 RPMs and 1200 on the pyro all the way up. I'm like, well, there's your fucking sign, you know. So yeah, can you burn them up 1200, especially if you have aluminum pistons? Absolutely. Steel pistons, you probably get away with it time and again, but you shouldn't sustain 12 for very long if you can help it. So kind of good rule of thumb is anything under 12. Back to the callers. Here we go. Kirby Ward, you're on the air, brother. What can we do for you?
Yes, sir. So I'm not a big cat guy. I haven't had a whole lot of cats, but my dad has had a few. He just bought a T600 92 model with a B model cat in it. and it sat for about 3 years. It ran good whenever they parked it. We got it started today, and it's just barreling smoke at a blow-by tube, and just tons of blow-by. Is there anything you can recommend? I figure the rings are probably seated on it, seated in the pistons or something, you know, that's causing that. Anything you can recommend before having to do an end frame on it?
They probably rusted out. They probably rusted in place, and when you guys got it to fire, it probably just scored out the liners. You're gonna have to go in and do a quick overhaul on it, man.
And the next thing with that, I've tried to tell my dad, you know, he's retired. He don't have the kind of money to go and pay somebody to do an end frame. He's real mechanically inclined. He's done everything. I mean, he just swapped a cat motor into another truck by himself. If he was to try to do an end frame himself, could he just, you know, rent the tools that are needed, and if he just takes his time with it, make sure everything's in spec, it'd probably be all right? Or would you recommend definitely taking it to somebody who does this?
For the tools that he would need to do a basic end frame on that, he could get them all off of Amazon. The ones off of Amazon are not that great for someone like me that does engines around the clock, you know, 340 of them a year. You're not going to get away with the Amazon tools. I can tell you unequivocally, they don't hold up. But for a guy doing one or two engines, absolutely. You can get the ring clamp, you know, the clamshell ring clamp. You can get the liner puller. The liner puller off of Amazon's like under $200. I can tell you right now, it's a piece of shit, right? It looks robust and it does work. And it works fairly well until it doesn't. You're going to do 5 or 6 engines and it's going to eat up, right? So, but yes, you know, for $500-600, he can get everything he needs. He can get actually for probably less than that. For $400, he can probably get everything he needs to do that job. He can get a liner press off of Amazon.
Okay.
He can get a ring compressor off of Amazon, and he can get a liner puller off of Amazon. For that engine, you know, just get it for any cat. They're universally going to work, and that's the only tools he needs, right? You know, that are specialty tools, and get them all off of Amazon and throw them in the trash when he's done. You know, pretty much. I mean, obviously keep them, but you know what I mean. They're, you know, so
yeah, he'll say probably never use, but they'll be there. You know, next thing is what is an M-frame kit cost for a B model? Interstate B said, you know, they can't give the public prices, but they said probably around $2,000 to $4,000. Would that be for everything that he would need for the M-frame?
So, you could pretty much get any kit out there, like from us, for example, and you're going to be right around $3,000. And yeah, it's going to have everything you need.
Okay. Cool deal, man. Well, I sure appreciate your time, and I'll let him know everything. I'm sure he's watching this. I told him to get on here and watch, so I sure appreciate it, man. Y'all have a great rest of your day.
Yep. Have a good one, brother.
You do the same.
You know, another tool they sell on Amazon is the front and rear main seal installers for cats. And I can tell you, those are not a good idea. I bought 3 sets of them because they're so inexpensive. I figured, why not? I bought one, and it put the seal in pretty good. The guys put in like 2 or 3 seals with it, and I have the, you know, good ones from Apex. But there's so many guys that work here. You're like, man, these are so cheap. I'll grab a couple and try them out. They broke the first one. I got another one and another one. And the other 2 I bought just wouldn't put a seal in straight to save its life. So out of 3 of them, one of them broke the main bolt, and the other 2 wouldn't put a seal in straight to save your life. You get so, you know, if I was doing one engine, would I buy the seal driver tool? Yeah, probably. It's going to be better than not being able to put the seal in. But you got to watch those Amazon tools. They don't hold up. The liner puller, it's good for 3 or 4 engines, and it just strips itself apart. They're junk, you know. But the heavy duty ones, you know, and I have 3 of the heavy duty ones here you get from Apex or Monaco or whoever, you know, they're like $700-800. They're pretty expensive. So you definitely get what you pay for with those engine tools for sure, guys. Do you drive for a living? Thank the Lord, no, I don't. I owned a lot of trucks for a long time. I have put a lot of miles on big rigs, both on the Alaska Haul Road and then also in North Dakota in the oil field there. And I owned 11 trucks up in Alaska and closer to 20 something in North Dakota. So anyhow, let's go back to the Chinese steel. Man, everything's Chinese steel. Come on. Dylan, you're on the air, brother. What can we do for you? Oop, did I grab you? Didn't grab you. Sorry. Now I'm going to grab you. Dylan, you're on the air.
Hey, can you hear me, Aaron?
Yeah, man.
Couple of questions for you. Is there an aftermarket, or I guess maybe like an updated version for a pre-charge cooler for a C13 ACERT?
A pre-charge cooler. You mean like a pre-cooler? There's not an aftermarket pre-cooler, no.
Yeah. Okay. No, I was just curious because mine went out, and my shop says that it's not a super common problem, but they do see it pretty often.
So pre-coolers going out, and all the engines we've done, all the years I've been doing this, I've seen 3 out of a couple thousand engines. So it is something that happens. It is incredibly uncommon.
Okay. Yeah, and I was just curious if it was something that maybe I did drive. I did lose a coolant hose, but I found before it got hot, I watched the temperature gauge and it hit like 210, and it usually opens a thermostat, and it didn't go up and it didn't go down, and I shut it down and got it fixed, and then it was smoking like crazy, and we thought it was the head gasket.
No,
but they put a bubble test to it and said everything's fine.
It's related. It's related. You took it out when you lost coolant. Bet you $1 million, but it is what it is. I don't really have a problem because we have dozens and dozens of them sitting on the shelf here from doing all those 640 builds. So whenever we find a bad one, it's just, we got a used one, a couple $100, change it out. But C13, I believe, is a little bit different one. And I mean, they're probably asking quite a bit for it, huh?
They told me it was like it was $1,400, I think, out the door.
Yep. Probably just gonna have to bite the bullet on that one, brother. Hey, I see my brother's on.
I'm hoping it's all put together.
What's that?
I'm thinking that they've all got it put together, and I'm hoping to pick it up tomorrow. I'm trying to wait for the delay between the phone calls, so I'm sorry if it sounds like I'm taking forever.
Oh, all right on. Well, good luck with that one, brother.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. I only have one more question. Do you have a website or anything for shopping and looking at your parts and stuff?
No, we're working on that. We paid a company a lot of money a couple months ago, but that stuff, I guess, takes quite a bit of time. We do have a call-in center with 7 people working there, though. And they're all really good.
I appreciate it.
Most of them are pretty knowledgeable and can help you figure out anything right there over the phone. That's better service than a website anyway, by far.
Awesome. Thank you, sir.
All right. Have a good night, man.
You too.
Bye. Oh, I saw one of my brothers. My parents had 10 kids. So saying one of my brothers is kind of not saying much, but I saw one of my brothers in the on the TikTok there. So that's cool. Welcome, Nate. How you doing? Anyway, guys, and lots of good questions. It's always like that. The nights when nobody calls, there's no really good questions in in the comment sections, and then when the phone lines are just blowing up, the comment sections are loaded with good stuff to talk about. But anyway, guys, gonna go back to the callers because again, this is a call-in show, so try and cater to that and keep it caller centric. Seems like the internet's holding up good tonight. I can't wait till we make our move and can actually run on fiber. That will be nice. Hello, you're on the air. Again, no name this time.
Yeah, this is Zeb. It's calling about a 2014 Kenworth with an MX-13 in it. We have we're pushing coolant, and we've done a head test with the combustion gas tester, and it passed 3 or 4 tests in a row. Cold, hot, didn't matter. Bypassed the air compressor, and we're still getting bubbles out of the overflow, but only when we decelerate. So you can excel, keep it up 1,500, 2,000 RPMs, whatever, nothing happens. As soon as you let off that throttle, it starts bubbling up into the overflow. And so we're kind of at a loss. I looked at the EGR cooler, pulled the temp sensor out, looked in the end of that, and then to relieve some of that pressure, if it was the EGR cooler, it didn't change anything at all. We're kind of scratching our heads as to what it could be. Maybe you can help.
So you're pressuring up the cooling system, but it's passing a combustion gas test.
Right. So we've done the basic pressure test, it's just a hand pump. And then we went as far as to test the gases for combustion gas, and it passed that test several times. Hot, cold, it didn't matter. The only symptoms we have really is you run the truck and it seems fine. All of a sudden a little coolant light comes on. We put a catch can on the pressure relief on the coolant bottle, caught that coolant, pour it back in, and go about your business. We got down to trying to figure out exactly what it was, tested the head, bypassed the air compressor, pulled that temp sensor out of the front of the EGR cooler, trying to relieve some pressure in that if that was the culprit. All of these things done at the same time, nothing changes. And like I said, it'll sit there and idle all day long and never have a problem. If you held the throttle, at any RPM, it doesn't matter. You don't build any pressure. But the very second you let go of that throttle, you get bubbles for about, a second, 2 seconds, and then it goes away. So with your cap on, obviously we're building up above that 15 pounds bypass cap on the side of the bottle, and it's pushing coolant out, that way. So what I did is I left that tester, the combustion gas tester, in the bottle as I was watching this from the cab, and I'd accelerate, and everything was fine. As soon as I let up the throttle, 1 or 2 seconds worth of bubbles, and then it would stop. And it wouldn't do it again until you kick your throttle up again and then let it go. But it only shows bubbles when you let off the accelerator. And it's clean. The coolant's clean. The water bottle's clean. I mean, I've pulled the coolant out of the truck now twice. There's no signs of, contaminated coolant or, it doesn't even visually look like contaminated coolant like you would expect if you had combustion gases in your cooling system. So kind of at a loss of what to do with this thing at this point.
Yeah, I've been scanning the comment section here, seeing if somebody is going to say skipping off. Oh, we just had a glitch in the.
Well, the consensus is liner. Yeah, they're saying liner. They're saying head gasket. They're saying air compressor. They're saying EGR cooler. And I've been around and tested everything. I haven't ripped the engine apart.
We just finished a PACCAR. Hasn't even left yet, but I can't remember. Is the turbo on the PACCAR? Does the turbo get fed coolant? I can't remember if it does or not.
No. The VGT does, but not the turbo itself. And then the 7 ejector appears to have a coolant circuit on it as well. But like I said, we're not showing any combustion gases in that bottle at all. We're not even showing any signs of dirty coolant, period. That coolant I pulled out of there I pulled it out twice now, and it's brand new. I mean, there's no sign, and I'm pulling it from the bottom of the lower hose, the lower pipe with the plug in it. So I'm getting it from the very bottom of the cooling system. There's no remnants of anything in that coolant. It's perfectly clean.
I'm
the bubbles that come out
I'm wondering if the turbo is the thing causing that.
Can you push boost through the case of a turbo into a VGT? I mean, is that even plausible?
I'm guessing right here along with you.
So it's not just me. I've been working on trucks for quite a while, and I just, generally these things are pretty easy to pinpoint. But this one here has got me scratching my head. It's a farmer's truck too, so I don't really, not like he can afford to just, rebuild the engine. He's got 400,000 miles on the truck. It's been a good truck, but here we are. We can't keep doing it for some reason. I didn't suspect the turbo because, I've never heard of a turbo boosting through the VGT and pressurizing the cooling circuit. I've never experienced that ever.
I've also never heard of your exact specific problem ever, where you only build pressure when you let off the throttle and you have no combustion gas.
Right. Right. You can hammer it and just hold it all day long. It never bubbles. But as soon as you let off that throttle, then you get a bubbles. And it's not like if you hold it for 5 minutes at 1,500 RPM, you get 2 minutes worth of bubbles. That's not how it works. It's literally 1 or 2 seconds worth of bubbling, clean, nice, clear bubbles, that only right after you let off the accelerator. And they will not come back until you accelerate again.
Which is the only reason I was mentioning the turbo, is because your turbo's moving around, and I'm trying to correlate anything that could correlate with throttle. It's the only thing that makes any sense, right? And it doesn't make any sense. I'm not saying I'm not saying it's your turbo, but it's the only thing. If you have a coolant fed turbo, I don't know how it would get in there, but it certainly could. It is possible.
So if that's correct, well, I should be able to pressure test that system, pull the pipes off the turbo, and see coolant coming in, right? Engine off, pressurize the coolant. Not even remove.
Cut the coolant.
Not even.
Cut the coolant to the turbo. It's not going to burn up immediately.
Right. Like I said, I do these tests. I've done them both cold and hot. It happens immediately. It doesn't matter if the thing's stone cold or 200 degrees. It does it no matter what. So it makes sense. I mean, if it's a cracked sleeve or a head gasket or something, you'd expect it to be contracted while it's cold, and then as soon as you get it hot, there you go.
Sure. Right.
Whatever the case may be.
Right. I've been listening to. I listened to your whole analysis there. Right. It's not heat related and this and that. You're not having signs of, well, once it gets hot enough. I've had liners do that, where they were cavitational, eroded like crazy, but they only, the holes only showed up when it expanded enough that it got hot enough that the holes would open up, right? Talk about chasing your ass,
right?
Trying to find a problem.
I'm with you.
But it's certainly worth a shot to cut the coolant to the turbo, since it does it right away, and see if it makes any change. Some people are saying the EGR, but I think it's kind of the other way around with the EGR. I mean, I don't know.
You're going to build more. You're going to build more pressure with RPM in the EGR, but like I said, I relieved that EGR by pulling that sensor out of the front of it, or the EGR cooler. So if I was, at high RPMs and that's where I was getting my problem, I figured I'd pull that sensor out and give that gas somewhere to go, in opposed to my cooling system. It didn't matter. Didn't change. Didn't matter if it was plugged or not plugged. And like I said, that coolant is brand new clean. There's no signs of it. And this has been going on now for about a week. You'd expect if it was an EGR cooler or a head gasket that you'd see something in your coolant. Some kind of discoloration.
Yeah, you would think so.
So, and if turbo, that sounds like a theory, a good theory. If it's not a turbo, what else in the world could it possibly be?
I don't know, and it's probably
what else
it's probably not the turbo, to be honest with you. But I don't know. I totally unrelated, but I'll tell you a funny one. I was chasing around a problem almost exactly like yours one time. It's on my own truck, or a truck that I owned. And we were getting desperate trying to figure out where all this pressure was coming from in the cooling system. It was a W900 Kenworth, and on your W900 Kenworths, they have a an actuator for the heater valves, right? And it has air
Right.
going to it.
You're talking for the cab heat.
Uh-huh. And it ended up being that valve
Okay.
was bad, and it was pressuring up the entire system. And we chased our ass around in circles trying to figure out what was pressuring up the system. And the only reason I bring that up is just, kind of a similar story. It took us forever to figure out where that was coming from. But, there's such a myriad of things that could be going on. I mean, so here's a question. You're running down the road. Are you is it pushing out a bunch of coolant? Is that the problem?
Well, so let's say we do a 10-mile run down the highway or something. As long as you're steady on it, you never even notice a problem. It seems that the problem shows up when you're getting off the highway or what have you to a stop sign. Then your little coolant light will come on, and that thing, there's not very much level in that bottle to allow coolant to be lost. You're talking a few ounces, 8-10 ounces, the little coolant light comes on. So, but if you stayed on it and ran it, you could run it for an hour straight if you just kept on the throttle and kept going. But as soon as you let off of it or come to a stop sign, now all of a sudden your little coolant light comes on, because at that point it's pushing that coolant out of that bypass valve. The PACCAR has just a radiator cap or a bottle cap on top, and then a pressure relief cap on the side with an overflow hose, and that's pushes it out of the overflow hose. But like I said, if you stay steady, it doesn't do it. And as soon as you let off of it, like coming to a stop on an off ramp or something, then it pushes that coolant out, and immediately the light comes on, and you put the coolant back in, and you make it to the next stoplight. And it wouldn't matter if that stop sign was 10 miles or 10 feet. I mean, it literally happens that fast. It could be, like I said, it's only when we're letting off the accelerator that this pressure is coming into the system. Because we've done it. We've ran it down the highway, 20, 30 minutes and thought the problem was solved, but no, it wasn't. In fact, it was, because we thought it was the pressure valve was weak. So we put a new pressure cap on it, and it seemed to do okay. And then, it lost a little bit. So we changed that 15-pound relief cap to a Volvo 18-pound, thinking then 3 pounds would help us. And it did, but it still does the same thing. It just, it does it at a higher PSI. It doesn't take any time at all to build that pressure. So at one point we capped that pressure relief off, put a long tube on our pressure tester itself, ran the gauge up to the windshield wiper so we could see what our pressures were doing. And said by the time we got to 25 pounds, we just stopped the engine and relieve the pressure. I didn't want to go any higher than that, but it didn't take any time at all. If you're stop and go, it happens almost immediately. But you put it down the road, it wouldn't happen. If you stayed on the throttle, you could drive it till you run out of fuel. As soon as you let off the throttle, you're going to lose 10 ounces of coolant, and your light's going to come on. But I can recreate the same thing sitting still.
This is an MX-13, right?
Right.
Yep.
2014 in a Kenworth. I'm at a loss. I looked at the turbo.
Some people are saying it's probably water pump cavitation. I seriously doubt that. I mean, it might be, but I don't know how it would cause the exact problem you're having. But the reason I doubt it is just because the modernness of the engine. I seriously doubt it. Of course, anything's possible. I don't know the problem, so I'm guessing like everybody else. But
right,
one gentleman has.
So the theory is your pump.
One gentleman has something to offer here. He says the MX has a bypass valve on it, and that is water cooled, and you get pressure on it when you let off. So I mean, maybe your bypass valve is no good.
Bypass valve. What are we bypassing? You're talking like a coolant circuit bypass? And where would this be? Where's it at?
Yeah, I'd like to ask my buddy in
I
Georgia.
mean, if I call parts,
I bet he would know, but my phone's locked up. So anyway, I don't know, man. I don't know. The BPV is the back pressure valve. Okay. So look up your back pressure valve on that thing. And start there. That's the most intelligent comment on here I've seen so far. Well, I shouldn't say intelligent. I should say the most promising comment I've seen on here. Right after the turbo, it's the back pressure valve. Okay. So there's several people saying that now. It's just behind the turbo. Okay. So several people are saying that. Nice. Well,
turbo.
Yep, back pressure valve.
Well, I appreciate that
right behind the turbo. Right on?
Got it. I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
All right, have a good night, man.
You too, thanks.
Now, there's an example of one reason I enjoy doing this show. Just keep hammering at it and get enough people in the comment sections. You're bound to get an answer at some point. There's a good chance that y'all just helped them figure out what's going on with that thing. I certainly hope so. But yeah, thank you guys. At least we got him some direction to go. At least we got him hope, right? We may be steering him the wrong direction, but at least he left the show with hope. That's almost as good as fixing it. All right, James, you're on the air, brother. What can we do for you?
You hear me?
Yeah, man, that's you.
Okay, I don't got my boss's truck. I drive it. 07 Freightliner. I believe it's an MXS Caterpillar. And when I started up, if I got to let this thing warm up to at least like 160, 170 degrees on the gauge. Otherwise, it spits and sputters and shakes really bad and then puts out a whole bunch of white smoke. But as soon as it's warmed up, it goes away. And there's like no miss at all.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've probably answered this question before, but
yeah, that's probably a VVA problem.
Okay, is that something like an overhead adjustment could take care of?
No, I mean your VVAs aren't operating until it's I believe it's above 160 degrees. Then they come on and start operating. So they're probably sticking up or something before they get oil and start operating. Probably not a big deal, to be honest with you. The other thing it can be is you have a bad injector and once it's up to operating temperature, it seems like the problem goes away. So
yeah, it doesn't do that at all. I mean, it's a really bad, like the whole truck shakes. If the
whole truck's shaking, it's probably a VBA problem. Those VBAs sticking up, an injector out's not going to shake the whole truck. You'd have to have a couple out for that. But if your VBAs are sticking up and not actuating until they get oil, that they can make them run pretty crazy for sure. Sounds like a VBA problem.
Yeah, I gotta let this thing warm up for like a half hour, 45 minutes. It don't matter if it's 100 degrees out or below zero. So what's he got to do to fix that then? Is it like just replace them, or is it something you can adjust? Or
I mean, I'd start by probably just running an overhead on them. It sounds like they come out of it.
Yeah, as soon as it's warmed up, above 170, there's no issue at all. And then another thing I'm having an issue with is I'm losing about a gallon of coolant maybe every week and a half or so, and I can't figure out where that's going. There's no leaks.
So I don't know if that would have anything to be tied in with it.
You're losing coolant, you said?
Yeah, like about a gallon every week and a half, 2 weeks. I got to put a gallon in.
Oh, it very well could be related. Very well could be related. You're leaking off coolant into the cylinders, and when you first start it up, that's where all your white smoke's coming from.
Okay. And that was it like a cracked head or something, or what would be causing that?
Yeah.
It don't ever run hot, and it's
Usually when a guy starts telling me something like this, it correlates back to we had something happen where we had to add coolant to it. 99% of the time. Sometime in the past.
Yeah, well, I've been
so.
driving this. I've been driving this thing for a year and a half, 2 years now, and there hasn't been a significant loss of coolant at all.
Define significant. You're losing coolant. You're losing coolant now. You have to put in a gallon and a half a week.
Yeah, no, but I meant like I haven't never lost enough to where, it'd get really hot and damage the engine, as I was saying.
Right. I'm not trying to argue with you being an asshole either. Honestly. But
I know.
That's what everybody says, right? I never got it hot, blah, 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 but you have all the signs of it, right? So by what you're describing, my first impulse was a VBA, but you're burning coolant and this and that, and you're blowing white smoke in the morning. You're bleeding off into that thing in the morning is probably what's actually going on. And that thing has to get, really hot to be able to clear up all that coolant. And run efficiently. It's probably leaking coolant in there all the time. The head's probably no good.
Well, it might be losing a little bit out of the radiator. But there's a little bit of wetness I see once in a while. But yeah, I've never. I don't know. I'm just a driver. I've never had any severe issue where I had to take it to the shop or nothing.
Yeah.
Ever since I got in this thing, it's added about a gallon every 2 weeks.
Yeah, well, you got in it with the head no good.
Okay. And it's just been all right for 2 years?
Yep. You've just been milking it out.
Oh. Okay. Well, alrighty. Well, I won't waste no more of your time, man. I appreciate it.
We're not wasting my time, man.
Everything else.
Oh, all right. Good luck, man.
Have a good one.
Bye. What's a good operating temperature for a DDEC 4? The same thing as every diesel engine on planet Earth. Anything above 180 and anything below 220 is optimal for a diesel engine. The hotter they are, the better they are. Optimal, like the most optimal temperature, going to be 205. Somewhere in there, that's the sweet spot for a diesel engine. Does the name Sean Copeland ring a bell? Well, I've never heard that name before. Kind of weird you're asking me, I guess, but no, that doesn't ring a bell. Never heard that name. Maybe I talked to so many people. Hack Nation does a hack job. Oh wow, dude, you're so clever. You're so fucking clever. Oh man, that's why I changed my name, right? It was because of fucking numbnut stuff like that. All of my detractors would call me hack, and they would tag their videos, "Never be a hack, don't be a hack." So I went down and changed my name to Hack Nation, changed my business name. Oh, you're not. Good luck hurting my feelings. Good luck hurting my feelings, buddy. Literally embraced my detractors and named my company after their little hashtag that they had for me. They would all make their little make their little posts, their little videos about me and hashtag it never be a hack. Oh, a bunch of Dead Wilder fans. Oh, look at me, I run from my past. Well, be a man and don't do that, man. And don't go on social media and tell everybody that. Oh, JB Weld. Nice. I love JB Weld. All right, back to the callers. I was calling about an oil cooler going out on me. I think your name is Roger. What can we do for you, brother?
Hey, how's it going, boss man?
Good, man. What can I do for you?
Can you hear me? No, I was just calling because I found some some oil in my coolant on the reservoir, and it started like I was checking everything because I wasted like a half gallon at 5,000 miles. So I looked in the coolant reservoir and I was full of like oil, and we got it replaced, but I haven't got to run it yet. But you think that much oil would be going? I'd be losing that much oil going to the coolant. You think that'd be the problem? Are me wasting oil, or is it just something else internal?
I'm not really. So, what did you replace? You replaced the oil cooler?
Yeah, I replaced the oil cooler because I had oil in my coolant, but the mechanic's saying that he don't think that'd be the reason my motor's wasting the oil.
No, it's most likely a cylinder head.
Most likely a cylinder head.
Yes.
Okay, because I was like, it was kind of like oily in there, so like I was hoping it would be that, but it wouldn't really never waste that much oil. So like the 9,000, 8,000 mile mark.
Yep. It was. I mean, it's so rare. It's the oil cooler anyway. I think most oil coolers get changed prematurely with people chasing head problems. It certainly seems like it in our industry. But the first suspect would be the head, of course. It's worth testing an oil cooler, but just changing one. I'm assuming your problem didn't go away.
Well, I haven't got to run it yet. Like I haven't got to put it under a load yet.
Oh, well,
I just changed it.
Yeah, well, go.
But the oil cooler did.
Go try it.
The oil cooler was clogged. They had the little rubbers on each side of it and everything, so it was falling apart. And I did that test where you put on the overfill tube, where you put that water bottle in there to see if it makes bubbles. They stopped doing it afterwards too, so I was just hoping that.
Yeah, it's
probably
the head, man. It's probably the head, but it's not going to hurt anything. Go run it and see if you still have the problem.
Okay.
Just don't go.
How much you think? How many more miles do you think I can get out of it?
Put a head on it, in lots.
Yeah. Soon. Well, I guess I'll call back to your that number you have and set an appointment.
Yeah, man. Give us a call. We can help get you lined out somehow, I'm sure.
All right. Thank you.
Yep. Bye. Yeah, some of the dildos that get up in these comment sections just blow my mind. Do you know Copeland? He's been waiting for months and months for his engine. No, I don't know Copeland. And no, he hasn't. God. If he needs you to come on my live and speak for him, he deserves to have his engine somewhere for months and months. So silly. Do our engines require a core if you're buying an engine from us? Yes, our core price though is $4,000, not $16,000 like Cat would have. Where our core price is $4,000. So, and we work with the Encores. We don't always have to have a like for like. And for instance, a guy just bought a 6NZ from me, and The only core he had was a B model. I didn't really want it. And the B model has a crack in it, so we gave him half the core for a cracked fucking B model. But, you know, just trying to work with people. It is what it is. Anyway, back to the callers. We got 3 more here. See if we can't burn through some of them. Do I think they'll start building new trucks again with no emissions? No. I don't think they're going to build new trucks again with no emissions. They're not going to get rid of the emissions that they have on the trucks right now. Why would they? I mean, you had one senator trying to get something going with that, and that's already all went by the wayside. They don't give 2 shits, and the EPA is too big, and there's too much money there. Guys, quit dreaming. The emissions are not going away. They're not going away. And no, CAT is not going to start building engines again because the emissions are going away. It's not going to happen. I was hoping for, at minimum, that they were going to roll back some of these emissions on corporations and stuff, you know, on stuff like, you know, mills and stuff like that. And they haven't even done that. You think they're going to do something for trucks? That stuff's way bigger fish. I mean, the EPA trucks for the EPA is like this much of what they do, and this much of what they do is, you know, foundries and stuff like that, right? And, you know, somebody's in the comment section telling me if my parts are, if the parts for my product line that's coming out, you know, if any of the steel is made in China, it's junk. Where do you want me to make it, buddy? Here in the United States, where you can't even have a foundry? The EPA won't allow you to have a foundry. They make it impossible for you to set up and do business in the United States and then claim that they're trying to be America first. They have to get rid of the EPA. They have to roll all that EPA crap back. And they're not going to start with trucks. If they're going to start anywhere, they're not going to start with trucks. They're going to start, you know, at the top where the big money's at and come down. And you don't see them doing that at the top. So they're certainly not going to come here and give 2 fucks about 3 million on-highway trucks, which is about what they figure is the amount of on-highway trucks at any given time in the United States. 3 million. They don't give a fuck. It's such a small amount of what they do. It's not even worth talking about to them. And certainly you guys got to remember, laws like stuff like that gets repealed or pushed around because people get their pockets lined. Who's going to get their pocket lined from 3 million different truck drivers? They're not. So they don't care about us. You know, if you have some steel manufacturer that's worth billions of dollars, they can line politicians' pockets and get them to repeal some stuff. But a bunch of different truck drivers, you ain't getting shit. You ain't getting shit. Nothing happens without politicians getting their pockets lined. And there's no way for them to capitalize off a bunch of broke-ass truck drivers that have no way to come together and line their pockets to do anything positive for us at all. It's never going to happen. Anyway, back to the callers. Matthew, you're on the air, brother. What can we do for you?
So I had my truck at MHC Kenworth because I was getting a random check engine light. It would stay on for a few days and it'd go off for a couple of weeks and then it would come back. So they did an update on the software for the computer, and they said that fixed it. It didn't. It turned out to be that particular sensor. No big deal. But since they updated my computer, I'm having issues with my high idle. So whenever I sleep at night, when it's either hot or too cold to sleep comfortably without it running, you know, what I would do is I turn the cruise on and bump the idle up. And used to, in the middle of the night, it would regen, you know, say after 5 or 6 hours of idling. Now it doesn't do that unless I turn the cruise control off to let the idle kick down. Now, if I bump the idle up without turning the cruise on and just hit the set button and bump it up to 750 RPMs, then it'll regen overnight. And now also I noticed that in order to kick my high idle off, I used to just hit the clutch pedal. And now that doesn't do anything. I actually physically have to turn the cruise button off to get the high idle to go down. I took it back to Kenworth.
All those things that you're talking about are parameters. And so if they flash
Right.
your truck, they fucked up all your parameters. They need to fix it.
Yeah. And I took it back to them, and I took it back to them. They can't figure it out. So I was wondering if that's do you have the knowledge in the computer to fix it? I'd be willing to pay you to do it.
Sure. Where are you at? What state?
That's well, in Texas. I'm not too far from you. I live in a little town called Niederwald, so I'm not too far from you.
Yeah, just give us a call and come by. We can figure that one out with you. I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you.
I've talked to a couple other guys. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say I'm not gonna figure it out. We have people that will figure it out, right?
Right. Yeah, and that's what I've talked to another couple of mechanics, and they said they went backwards with the software on the update. I don't know how they could do that, but now if I pull the engine model up on my digital screen on my dash, it says engine model 2017 ISX3. And then it gives me the SW version. But my truck is a 2019 with a 2018 engine in it. It's an X15. It's a W900.
None of that shit matters, man. Just get a hold of us.
Okay, I'll do that.
All
yeah,
right.
next, I'm actually on my way to Arizona, and I'll be back in probably a couple of weeks. So
Sure.
I'll call you and set something up with you.
Sounds good.
All right.
And just
All right, appreciate.
all right, sounds good. Bye.
Yeah, appreciate it, Aaron. All right.
I'll just keep piling in. Anyway, sorry, I'm back. Had to scrape my brain off the sidewalk, but she's intact again. We're ready to go. Brent, you're on the air, man. What can we do for you?
All right, cool. I got a simple one for you. I know how to pin the engine. Like if you're doing, I know how to pin the engine. But when I'm gonna replace the crankshaft dampener, someone had mentioned something about a dowel pin, like after you take the dampener off. I'm not familiar with it. What is he talking about, or what's with the stupid fucking dowel pin?
What engine?
It's an ISX 15 CM 2350. Cummins, obviously. I didn't even know there was a dowel pin.
Are you changing the dampener?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I don't want to pay a mechanic to do it. I'm going to do it myself. So, trying to figure that out before I get everything torn off.
They're not too bad, man. They're not too bad. If you're trying to, they're kind of hard to get off. They're almost impossible to get off without a sway bar of some kind. And it says right in Cummins, don't use a sway bar on them. You know what I mean? So, but as long as you're gonna, change it, it's not a big deal, right?
Does it matter what position the engine's in when you take it off? I mean, because there's timing marks on there. So
yep, and that's what the dowel pin's for. The dowel pin is for It is for lining up your timing marks.
The dowel pin is, so is it the one that you use like on the side of the block to where you like pin the engine with the little that pin? Is that what
No,
it is, or is there something different?
no, just pay attention when you pull that one off. Just pay attention to what you're doing.
Sounds good. All right, fair enough.
Yeah.
And for all those guys talking shit about you, fuck them. Yeah, I mean, haters are gonna hate, but if they're like talking shit, it's just because they're jealous, and that there's a lot of that going around, unfortunately.
If I didn't have any haters, man, then I would not doing anything right.
Exactly. Thanks for your time.
All right, brother. Yeah, yeah, as soon as you get that dampener off and see what's going on, you'll see that it's pretty self-explanatory. You'll be fine.
Okay. Well, I mean, I thought I had it all under control. And then my friend was telling me, you know, I mean, I don't want to backtrack, but now I'm just focused on this fucking dowel pin that I have no idea.
Making much of nothing. Don't worry about it.
Perfect. Sounds good. Thank you.
Later, brother. Does anybody know how to get one of those off without a sway bar? I swear. Don't hate. I just think you're wrong about the Max Force. It's the best engine. Oh, you know, some people got some good mileage out of those, but you know, their design was flawed. It is what it is. You know, their EGR system, the way they designed it, got the engine way too fucking hot and just burnt them to the ground. That was the real problem with the Max Force. It was actually a flawed design. And yeah, Torch, Air Hammer, what the hell's wrong with you guys? I'm talking about taking the dampener off and putting it back, like putting the same one back on. Torch it and hammer it and goofballs. Talking about, like, let's say you want to go do a front main seal and you want to get that dampener off and you want to put the same one back on. It's just almost not going to happen on those ISXs. You know, like on a Cat, you just rattle the bolts out and she'll fall off for you. Ish. So anyway, back to the callers. Dana Underwood, you're on the air, brother.
Hey, Aaron, this is Daniel. So I got a 1999 Peterbilt. It's got a 3406E Caterpillar engine in it. So it's got some pretty excessive blow by, and really wasn't worried about it because it's holding good oil pressure. Usually when it's warmed up hot, you're running 50 to 60 pounds. When it's cold, you're running around, 30 to 40-ish range. So the truck still run good and strong. Went to get in it one morning to crank it. It was a little cold. Didn't plug it up. Wasn't no need to. It was in the 40s, and it struggled to crank. So I was like, well, okay, maybe I left the dome light on or something like that, So cranked on it for a second. Didn't have to use no ether or anything like that. And it finally cranked up, ran, did my load. It was about a 3-hour round trip. Got back, shut it off. The next morning I get in the truck. It's the same thing. It's like the battery's dead. Okay, so first thing I do is pull the battery charger out, put the battery charger on there, throw 200 amps to it. Still, like it ain't got nothing. So throw some jumper cables on there. Still nothing. So I'm like, all right, well, fuck it. I'll pull the batteries out, take them, get them tested. So took the batteries out, took them, got them tested. They all tested bad. I thought, I found my problem. Come back, put the batteries in, and make sure I got all tight connections. And there's a little fuse in the battery box down there. Made sure that was good. Went to go crank it. Same thing. It's like it's not getting enough ump to crank it, So I called my mechanic. He come over. He says that it was a crankshaft sensor. So, okay, we order one of those. He comes, puts it on. Still doing the exact same thing. And then he goes into saying that
how could it be the crankshaft sensor if it won't even turn?
No, it'll turn over.
Oh, okay.
It'll turn over, but it's almost like the batteries are really low. Like you got a dead battery. It's like it's just, struggling to start. It'll turn over, no problem. But it's like a real, like an old 4430 tractor. You just won't start on a cold morning. It'll finally get there, but it just won't ever hit. And he tells me that it's possibly. Go ahead.
That's usually.
Well, he told me it's possibly the engine's shot.
Yeah, it's usually a really good sign the starter's bad.
Well, okay, so that's what I thought. Now I'm just a farmer. I'm not no mechanic. That's why I'm on the phone.
Hang on.
All right.
I can't remember.
All right.
I can't remember what the RPM the engine has to turn over off the top of my head, but it has to actually turn over at a certain speed or it won't start.
He told me that it wasn't building enough compression. I was only doing about 20 pound of oil pressure while he was trying to crank it, and he thinks the engine's just shot on it.
It's the other way
and
around.
I'm like,
I mean,
that thing was running perfect.
You would have to have shit tons of compression for it not to want to turn over. If there was no compression, it would turn over easy.
Right. Like you said, it's just like you got a dead battery, or a low battery or something,
Yeah, I can't remember.
I don't know.
I can't remember what the number is. Somebody said 400 or 500. I believe it's somewhere in that range, but it has to turn over a certain amount of fast or it will not start. Like the computer will not allow it to.
Right.
So,
right. And I put my hand down there on the side of the frame, and it's not loose. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I can move it just a hair back and forth. So I didn't know if that had something to do with it or not. He said no, but
your starter wiggles back and forth.
So yeah, on the side of the frame, you could take the whole starter and just kind of barely move it back and forth. You'd have to push on it pretty hard, but it would,
it should be.
It would move back and forth just a little bit.
Put a new starter on it.
Shouldn't do that.
Put a new.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I didn't get.
Okay. And get a gear reduction starter. It's about half the size of the stock one. They're way better.
All right.
They're way better.
Okay. All right. Another question is, and I think I know what this is. I think it's the Bendix, but I'm not. Like I said, that's why I'm on the phone with you. I'm getting a lot of oil blow out of my air compressor, like my air dryer. I'm sorry, my air dryer, and I don't know if there's something wrong with the Bendix air compressor where it's bypassing and going towards my dryer or what. I've changed it 2 different times.
Your air compressor is its own little engine, has a cylinder head, coolant, oil, pistons, the whole 9 yards, and it can have blow by just like anything else. The compressor is probably just bad.
Yes.
The rings are burnt out on it.
Okay. On the Bendix.
Yes.
Okay.
The air compressor.
All right, and then.
Yep.
Yes. Okay. All right. And then you talked to my dad here, I don't know, it's been a year or so ago, because we were going to bring the truck to you. We're from actually Tennessee. I know you don't remember the conversation, but we talked about the blow by, or he was talking to you about the blow by. And if I ain't mistaken, of course, he's passed away since then, so I can't ask him this question. So I got to ask you, see if you kind of remember. You told him to run a synthetic oil in that because it had the blow by. Does that sound right?
No, I wouldn't tell a guy that. But synthetic oil,
okay.
It sounds like something I would say as far as synthetic oil in general to anyone. Synthetic is such vastly better oil. But if you have an engine that's burning oil, 2 gallons in how long? How many miles are we talking?
Well, see, I'm not really losing. I don't really think I'm losing or burning oil. I think it's most of my oil loss is coming out of my air dryer. Because it's what it is. It's straight oil blowing out, and I guess that's where it's coming from. I guess it.
Yeah.
Cure that
problem, and see if your problem goes away for sure.
All right. Well, you might want to run a T4 or T6 in that Rotella instead of synthetic. And the reason I ask that is because I'm talking to you. And you're a guru, so I'm listening to you, but you got local people saying no, that engine is not designed. That older engine is not designed for a synthetic, It's so. Would you run a synthetic, or would you go back to a T6?
There's not an engine on planet Earth that was designed around oil.
Right.
Right. So the guys that say that are fucking retarded. And that's the nicest way I can say it.
Well, Well, I mean, that's why I'm on the phone with you, because you seem to be a little bit smarter than they are. But I just wanted to,
If you want, if you want to use that, if you want to use that logic, then tell those guys to go back to using a tier 1 oil, which is what existed when that engine, came out. And a good,
right. I got you.
And they're not even going to be able to find any. That's why it's humorous, because all oils, at least all oils now are at least a tier 2 oil, which means that they have been hydrocracked at least 1 or 2 times.
Right. Yeah. Would it hurt to run a little Lucas oil additive in that oil? Just because it seems like it runs a little bit better on a thicker oil, as far as like, I don't know. You tell me. Some people say it's not worth it to put an additive in the oil like that, or some people say, yeah.
Oh, my live just got suspended on TikTok, probably for that nice comment I just made. Such a pansy platform. Anyway, I missed your question there because I was trying to get my live going. What'd you say?
No, you're good. No, brother. No, you're good. So we running the synthetic oil like you suggest. So would you run the synthetic oil? I know you said you don't remember that conversation, but would you run that, or would you run a regular Shell Rotella oil?
Synthetic is vastly better than conventional oil.
Okay. And would you put an additive in there like a Lucas for high mileage on the truck?
No.
Since it does have the blow by. No. Okay. All right.
It probably
all
does,
right.
it probably doesn't have blow by. You're putting it all in the compressor.
Right. Well, I don't know. I mean, like I said, it on a good day, if you're sitting there out there in sunlight, it looks like somebody's on fire. But like I said, it runs smooth and good, So it's like, well, we're not going to rebuild it if it's still running good, So, but I'll try that with the starter and see, and then if he questions or whatever, I may give you a call, and we'll go from there, and we'll brainstorm a little bit more.
Sounds good, brother. Good luck.
Thanks, Aaron. Thank you, buddy.
Yep. Bye.
This call is no longer being recorded.
Yeah, you're probably right. It was the R word that got me banned from TikTok, I'm sure. Yep. Oh well. It's a temporary ban. Can't remember what it said. Let's see, what did it say here? Live. Banned from going live until January 10th. So we'll be back up for the next show. We're doing good. Use Pro Lube. Come on, man. You're not buying into the Pro Lube crap, are you? The money that you're going to spend on Pro Lube, guys, for crap's sakes, go out and buy a good tier 4 oil. That's going to be vastly better than buying a shitty oil and putting Pro Lube in it. Anyway, back to the callers. This is going to be a lot easier without having to keep up with TikTok. Lane, you're on the air, brother. What can we do for you?
Hey, man. I've got an N14. It might be a little bit of a doozy for you, but I know you work on a bunch of them, and they seem to be one of your favorite engines. But so I just had it rebuilt back in June. I got it back in like July, something like that. Had everything gone through and had the heads redone. Only thing that I did not get new was the injectors because they still tested good. Then got it back, got it in the truck. The truck has an 18 speed and 410s with tall 11 24.5, 11R 24.5. And the truck does not run like other N14s I've had. And we've checked the timing. We've checked the injectors because we thought it could be the injectors. So we got a new set from Premco down in Texas. And I've got injectors from my big cam from them and did great. But got the Premco injectors in it, and it ran a little dog ear. And come to find out, one of the injectors was lazy out of the box. So we put a Cummins injector in its hole. And it seemed to perk it up a little bit. But
just a little note for you here: Premco makes the best big cam injectors on the market. You're not going to find a better manufacturer.
no doubt,
But
I loved it when I had my big cam.
Little known fact: they don't make N14 injectors. That's why
they don't.
That's why you're not having the same luck with their N14 injectors as you did with your big cam injectors.
I see. So, but I mean, the truck just
do you want
it seems to struggle.
Do you want to know who made your injector? Interstate.
I would love to know.
Interstate McBee made that injector. Guarantee it.
I gotcha. So, but no, the truck just doesn't pull like my other N14 I had. So this N14 is a 460, 1844 CPL. It's a 95 Select. And then I had a 2001 Select Plus that was a 430. And that 430 had 390s in it and a Super 10, and it would outpull my truck. I mean, I could put 80,000 pounds in that truck and it would run 85 mile an hour, no problem. And I mean, my truck, you put 72 to 80,000 pounds on it and she doesn't really want to run 70 all that well.
It runs fine.
And it's got a new mat sensor. Yeah, it runs fine. You can start it in the morning when it's cold, and she has a little bit of stumble at idle, but once it warms up, it goes away completely. It idles smooth, it runs smooth, it accelerates smooth. It just doesn't really feel that powerful. It has a new ECM, new injector harness. There's new pass-throughs on the rocker boxes. There's new wires to the Cummins injectors, but the Cummins injectors only have about 430,000 miles and change on them. So I'm at a complete loss. The shop that built it doesn't really know. It builds 34 pounds of boost, 160 pounds fuel pressure. The shutoff solenoid's getting proper voltage.
I'm not sure. Are you building good boost?
Yeah, it builds 34 pounds of boost, no problem. So it's got a Momentum Works HT60 on it. So it's got a newer turbo on it. That's done great.
Are you sure it's just not your gearing?
Man, I really don't. I have it's geared at its top speed is still 95 mile an hour at 2100 RPM. So she's not really gear bound. In 8 low, I can cruise 70 mile an hour at like 1650 RPM, and then in 8 high, I can cruise 70 at 1500. I typically cruise in 8 low whenever I'm pulling, and then 8 high whenever I'm just deadheading somewhere. I try to keep it between 1650 and 1800 RPM when pulling. I don't let it get below 1500. I mean, that's where I've been told the power band is. That's where it feels like it's peppiest.
What gears do you have in that thing?
It's got 411s on tall 24s.
Well, you're not going to have anything be peppy with that kind of gearing.
I mean, I had an N14. So I did the math. I had that N14 Select Plus that I had that Super 10 with 390s, and it had a smaller size tire on it. So the math worked out to where those 390s with that smaller size tire turned the same RPM that my 411s do with the tall 24s. So theoretically, it's kind of the same RPM and drivetrain setup. But my 18-speed and 410s just feel, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it shouldn't be gear bound at all. I understand it's not going to be a race car, but I mean,
yeah, not when you're all the way up to speed, right? But off the line, that's gonna be hard pressed to feel like it has any kind of I don't know, 411s with 24.5 talls. I think you're asking too much to make it for it to feel like it has horsepower until you're going 90 miles an hour.
I gotcha. I guess.
I mean, you get into a good headwind, you'll come to a stop.
No, I do get if I do get into a headwind, she does start drinking pretty good, but she does slow down a little bit. But
right, and different geared trucks won't slow down at all, no matter how hard the wind's blowing. Right. I had a truck with 411s.
Oh yeah, but
I had a truck with 411s in it, and I got rid of it because the fucking thing wouldn't get out of its own way. Now it would go 90 miles an hour.
Yeah.
It had a 14-liter Detroit in it. It'd go 90 some miles an hour, but you never even, it was a 10-speed. You could never put the damn thing in 10th gear because it would immediately lose speed, right? And coming out of the frac sites and stuff, that thing, it's just ridiculous, right? I think you're asking way too much out of that thing with that gearing.
I gotcha. So, where would you run one? What would you gear it for to run at, to pull at?
I don't know. I mean, that's expensive venture there. I mean, if I was in your shoes, I'd probably drop to like some low pro 22s or something and see if you could just solve your problem that way.
Well, yeah. I've got brand new tires though, so I really don't want to change tires yet. The truck sits on an aluminum frame, so I'm eventually going to do a steel frame anyway. So I've been debating on what gears to switch to when I do that, because the 410s are nice, but it seems if that's my problem, then I do need to get rid of them. When I had the big cam, the 410s really saved my life because I had a direct drive transmission in that thing, and that big cam was just kind of gutless. So them injectors and the other stuff I did to it woke it up, and then 411s helped. So,
I think the main differential that I ran in all my trucks was 355s.
I gotcha. So, but everyone tells me not to pull it under 1500 because that'll fret blocks and stress them out a little much. But I try to run about 1650 to 1700. Does that sound about right to you?
I mean, I'm not going to say no, but I don't agree with the first part of that comment that you're going to fret the block because you pulled it down. I don't agree with that. Yeah, you can run into some fretty issues if you go and you turn that thing up to the moon to some crazy horsepower it's not supposed to be. But under normal operating, that engine's designed to pull. It's designed to pull all across the torque band. That includes lugging it down.
Yeah, so it's a 460 with a 500 file in it, and I've checked I have a spare ECM for it that has a 460 file on it, and it seems to be doggish on both ECMs, so I don't think it's an electrical issue, but
no, I don't think
I meant to add that earlier.
I don't think there's anything wrong with it, personally.
I gotcha. Oh. I may check out a different tire size and go from there, man. So.
All right, brother. Good luck.
Alrighty, I appreciate it. Thank you for your time.
Bye. Man, it's not nearly as fun without TikTok rolling. Those bastards. What a bummer. Oh well, here we go. Michael, you're on the air, brother. What can we do for you?
Hey, Aaron, how are you? Yeah, I have a quick question, man. I have a Kenworth T660 2009 with a C13 Acer, there's nothing. There's no problem with the truck itself, but I'm over 1,380,000 miles, and I would like to know what recommendations will you give me. You know, if I should overhaul it now. It's running perfectly fine, but you know, I just don't want the engine to break on me. You know.
Yeah. You know, and there's two schools of thought, of course. One school of thought is don't fix something that's not broke, right? But I can tell you that from what we've seen over the last 9 years of rebuilding engines for people, you know, and I've done trucks for a lot longer than that, but what I've seen is guys that have made it to high mileage and decide to go ahead and overhaul them before there's a catastrophic failure. They just overhaul it for the sake of the mileage. They almost unequivocally come back at a much lower cost than someone that runs it until it just takes a shit, right? And if you got 1 million miles on it, and you can afford to put it down, and you can afford to overhaul it, I can almost guarantee you that your end bill is going to be somewhere in the realm of half of what it will cost if you just keep milking that thing out until you have a catastrophic failure.
Okay, so you recommend me to do an in-frame on the engine?
Yeah, of course. Before it becomes before it becomes something much worse and it's an out of frame, right?
Yeah, you're right. And what kit should I use? What would you recommend me to use on that C13 Pacer?
You know, I don't really have a problem with any of them. I really don't. We got our own kit coming out on the 20th of January, which am very proud of, and very proud of all the time and effort we put into them. We'll have them for every platform. But even when those come out, and the reason I'm bringing them up is because when those kits come out, and we put a lot of time into these things and a lot of research and a lot of developing them, and I'm trying to make sure I have the best product anyone's ever seen. I'm still not going to come on here or make videos telling people I wouldn't use any, because it's not fucking true. It's not true. You know, if a guy wants me to use a AFA kit, Interstate McBee kit, an IPD kit, I don't have a fucking problem with it, man, because it's all quality stuff. Right? So, it really comes down to, you know, what you're trying to do with it, but you know, you can't, you know, AFA kit's going to be a great kit. Interstate McBee kit for that's going to be a great kit. PAI going to be a great kit. All of them, especially if it stays in frame. You know, I do have some preferences on out of frames, but that's only related to how complete the kits are. You know, they have all this every gasket, every O-ring type thing. But as far as quality in the overhaul sense, you can't really go wrong. You know, just don't go to eBay, don't go to Temu or something like that. You know, go stay with one of the big names, and you're good.
Right. Okay, that was the only question I had for you. Thanks, man. Thanks for your time.
Yep. Have a good night, man. Good luck.
Appreciate it.
Bye.
Thank you.
Oh, shit. All right, Kevin, you're on the air, brother. What can we do for you?
Hey, boss. Hey, I have a 2013 Kenworth. It had a 2250 in it, which I grenaded, sent number 2 through the side of the block. I put a 2016 2350 in it, so I had to do some modification to my wiring harness. So I really don't think that's the issue. But anyway, this truck, when I bought the motor to put in this truck, it was already on a diet. And ever since I put this motor in this truck, it's just not run right. So first trip out with it, I broke the shaft in the fuel pump. So ended up having to put a I didn't put a new fuel pump. I robbed the fuel pump off of my 2250 and put on this one. Had to change the front structure, all that. So, but now the issue that I'm having is when you first take off, and it could be the first 5 miles, first 20 miles. Check engine light will pop on, go right back off, and it just like it goes into a D rate. And you can push down on the accelerator, it doesn't want to go. You can let up on the accelerator, push back down, and it'll kind of take off. So, but it still won't get over about 25, 26 pounds of boost. I done a leak down test on the injectors, and I found 3 that, wasn't in the threshold, so I changed 3. So, but now, that seemed like it made it run better. I've changed the check valve, done all that, made sure all my filters are clean all the time, and it's still nothing's helping. I bought the Ansel XD7. Don't know how good that platform is as far as the scan tool, but I've noticed the command pressure on this thing will be like, say, 37,000. And right before the check engine light will come on, I've noticed that the actual pressure will be around 28 to 29,000. So it's like a big lag time in pressure, right before the check engine light comes on. And it'll also get a code like 589, which, usually tends to go towards a fuel pump. But sometimes I won't even have that code. I will just have one for fuel pressure sensor, a code for it, and not the 589 code. So the shop that I use, he seems to think it's an injector problem, but I'm leaning towards more that it's the head on the fuel pump. What would you think that it could possibly be?
Well, first off, who made your harness for you?
We made it. We actually bought the plugs to go, from a 3-wire ECM to a 2-wire. So we repinned everything ourselves. And when we done that, which, we had to change the sensor on the fuel pedal because I can't remember which way it went. One was a dual pulse modulation and the other one was, an analog. So we had to change the sensor on that part of it on the fuel pedal. But yeah, we repinned the guy at the shop. He's pretty good with stuff like that. And he actually just repinned everything and switched everything over. But I wasn't having this issue until I broke the shaft in the fuel pump and had to take the front structure off my old engine, put on this one, yada, yada. But this fuel pump that was on this, because I just had that motor rebuilt by Cummins, and it only had 470,000 miles on it when it grenaded. So, it could be a bad fuel pump because, it was a used fuel pump. But he seems to think it's an injector issue, which I'm not really leaning towards that.
Well, why aren't you guys using your insight to figure out what's going on?
Well, because, I haven't been back to his shop, for a while. So that's why I bought the Ansel to kind of read the codes, get the fuel pressures and all that.
Yeah, that's you need a real computer that has the right software, and then you'd be able to figure all this out.
Okay. It'd be better just to hook it to his insight, which, like I said, I just don't want to keep throwing injectors at it because, he buys them from Peterbilt. That's where he gets a lot of his parts, and it's $1,500 a pop. And
that's what the insight's for, so you don't throw money at it.
Okay. That's why I was kind of like, if you would lean towards more of the head on the fuel pump or, just go ahead and replace the other 3 injectors and be done.
I wouldn't replace anything until you've looked at what Insight says for the codes that you're having and done the troubleshooting that it recommends in Insight.
Okay. Okay.
And I would be very
Well,
suspicious.
I might have to
And I
take it.
would be very suspicious of your pinout causing some of those problems. I would look into seeing if you could get a replacement harness from a custom truck that's a plug and play, that everything's already done correctly.
Okay. Yeah, and I had another friend of mine that suggested that too. You know, that it could be, you know, a little bit in the wiring. So, okay. Well, I guess it's a trip back to the doctor then.
All right, brother. Good luck.
So, all right. Thank you, sir.
Yep. Bye. Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree with some of those comments there. I think it's probably in the harness. What's the best computer to have? Panasonic Toughbooks. We have 5 of them here. But finding one that already comes ready to go, that's a challenge. I'm fortunate enough to have someone that if I need another computer, I just buy a Panasonic Toughbook and they set it all up for me. I don't know where a guy goes to buy them already ready to go. I don't have that source, so replace it all, and if that's not it, it must be something else. There's a lot of shops that do it that way. That's a fact. Anyhow, I think your name's Paul. You're on the air, brother. What can we do for you?
Yeah. I was calling because so I got a Cat C15 Acer MSX, and it scored 2 cylinders, and pretty much just saying what would have caused this problem besides, you know, the mechanic just says it's heat, and, you know, you pretty much got it a little too hot.
I'm going to guess it just recently got overhauled.
Yeah, just recently got overhauled.
Okay, so that makes a big difference. If you have a scored liner on something that recently got overhauled, how do you mark it?
1,000 miles, I blow it.
Oh, okay. And what happened last time? Same thing?
Same thing, just different cylinders.
Mhm.
This time it's cylinder number 6 and cylinder number 1, and last time it was 5 and 6.
It's because they bent all your cooling jets, and they're still bent.
That's what I told him. The cooling jets are brand new. They have a little red line across where the Caterpillar, and he told me, he's like anyone that knows Caterpillar parts, when the cooling jets have the little red line through the Caterpillar, they're brand new. I was like, all right. But he said that
I just bought 6 of them yesterday, and they didn't have red lines on them. I don't know what the fuck he's talking about. So
that's honestly what he said, because I told him, I was like, you use used jets, because he told me that on that MSX that it has a 6NZ crank, and I was like, well, how does that work out?
What? So you have 6NZ rods in there? You don't have Acer rods?
No, they're 6NZ rods. The number is the not
9Y.
Yeah, 9Y60 or 6054 or something like that.
So why do we have 6NZ rods and a 6NZ crank in your Acer?
I have no idea. And they're OEM. Well, the Acer, the crank is aftermarket, the cylinders are OEM, and the head was aftermarket too. The head cracked in like 3 places, and all the
Okay.
parts were purchased.
And so
I'm just wondering if it's,
and so I'm guessing you
I'm
have
just wondering.
you have a 6NZ tune on it, or I mean a 6NZ ECM on it.
No, there's a Acer ECM on it.
And what horsepower are we saying that we have?
It got dynoed, and it has a force. It says 475, but I really don't know. I've taken it back to the guy like 2 or 3 times, and I told him, I was like, I think 100% it's your tune, and I've been looking for a different tune.
Every
but
guy that puts a crazy
obviously-
a crazy fuckboy tune on a truck says it puts it as a 475. It's like the thing to do. I don't care what the ECM says. I'm asking I'm asking what did he tell you the horsepower rating was on it?
I thought it was 475. I didn't think it was nothing crazy. Honestly, when it blew up, I was going up I-80 just outside of Laramie, and like I said, those hills aren't even big. Like, well, compared to other ones that, I pushed it even harder. But I was just wondering if it was the connecting rods or what was it? What can we do to make that motor a little bit more efficient so it doesn't blow up?
Take it to a different shop.
I took it to a different shop this time.
Are they?
I took it to a different shop this time because the guy says, well, he told me, he's like, oh yeah, I'm not going to cover that under warranty. And the people that he got the parts from they're not covering the head. They're not covering nothing. So it's pretty much out of pocket again.
So if you're cracking out the head, right, you certainly have some kind of fueling problem.
But is that like pretty common that people run that? They do. They put a 6NZ crank in their Acer.
No. It's
How would you deal with all the gears? With all the gearing in the front,
gears
is
are the same.
or-
The same.
What would you do if that was you? Because honestly, I'm going to rebuild it, and I'm just going to take out the OEM, all the OEM, Caterpillar brand pistons, and pretty much put them on the shelf. And I'm going to throw a OEM, a AFA, or PAI,
That's not the
or
problem.
any other
though.
kit. That you-
So somebody tried to roll that
You don't
thing.
think that's
So
the
somebody
problem?
so somebody tried to roll that thing back to a 6NZ in their mind, right? And they tried to achieve that by instead of getting a Acer 16-to-1 piston, they went all the way back to 6NZ crank so they could put in 6NZ rods, and the whole point was to end up with 6NZ 16-to-1 crowns. I'm assuming you have single turbo.
Yeah, I got a single turbo.
Okay. So there is a tune on that thing. Otherwise it wouldn't be able to run like that, right? The VVAs are shut off and all that. So I pretty much guarantee it's not a 475. It is whatever fuckboy tune that guy put on it. And that is the source of all your problems, right? You're so far vested into the changeover now. You kind of gonna want to stay that way. And you need to focus in on that tune. If you're trying to salvage what you have, you need to throw it back together basically the way that it is. And you need somebody that knows how to do that kind of tuning to where you don't have, where you're not just destroying the damn thing right after you get going with it.
Well, this time when he's doing it, the guy's cut the counterbores just to make sure.
That has nothing to do with what's happening to you. Has nothing to do with what's happening to you at all. I mean, all you're really telling me is that you're at another shop where the guy didn't have a fucking clue.
So pretty much don't count the counterbores and just put,
I'm not telling you not to
just
cut the
pretty much
counter
bolt it back
bores, but
together.
it's not related. It's not related to your problem. You're not burning up.
Because it's an add frame and
You're not burning up cylinders.
yeah, I'm
and
not
cracking-
burning nothing up.
No, you are. You're burning up cylinders. You're cracking out your head. That has nothing to do with the counterbores. It's not related in any way, shape, or form. The counterbores can be cut perfect or cut absolutely fucked up, and it's not going to have either of those issues that you're having.
Okay, so pretty much just wrap it up how it is, and you're stuck with the 6 Hensley crank, pretty much. I thought it was an Acer crank.
And I don't think, I would never do that. And I think most people that know better would never do that. But you're already there. And I don't want to just, like shit on you, right? So the reality of it is that's not the end of the world. It's not the end of the world. The problem is your 475 tune that's causing all this problem. All of it. You got
So pretty much it's always just
you can put it back together the
you
way
got to
it
get a
is.
good tune.
Put it back together the way it is, and you got to have somebody tune it that's not a dumbass, pretty much.
It doesn't just throw something at it that they've thrown at 100 other trucks.
Exactly.
All righty. Well, sounds great. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. And hopefully you guys have a sale on your in-frame kits or something.
Yeah, we do, man, of course. But we have everything to put that thing together. It's not a problem. And you're okay to put it back together the way you have it. You have to fix the tune.
Would you do new eject? Because I think we're gonna re-ring it and just put brand new seals in the piston packs and stuff like that.
That's fine. That's fine. Do that.
All right. Well, sounds great. Well, thank you. I appreciate your time.
Yes, sir. Good luck, man. Seriously. Bye. I mean, in my opinion, if you're going to tune trucks, this is my opinion. If you're going to tune trucks and your tune destroys trucks, you should fucking warranty that truck. That's my opinion. We tune a lot of trucks, and that's like part of the thing. If we tune your truck, then we warranty it against having any issues due to the tune. Shouldn't that be the way that it is? If you're getting paid to do the programming on a truck, and some of these places charge a fucking fortune to do that kind of crap, shouldn't you be the accountable party for a failure due to the tuning? And it seems like it's the exact opposite. You have all these guys out there that do tuning, and they get to wipe their hands clean of it. It's the biggest fucking bullshit in our entire industry. I swear to God. Like PDI, like look at how many fucking engines they destroyed, when they were doing tunes. This is before they had their tuner, but when they were doing tunes, actual tunes, they destroyed more trucks single-handedly than all other factors in the industry combined. In my opinion, I'm not even trying to be like, I'm being serious. They ruined so many people's engines. Not our problem. Just what the fuck, man? I mean, if we tune and I'm not trying to get people to come here. I mean, we're not trying to sell tunes. We don't specialize in tuning. That's not our thing. But if we're building an engine here or we've done work to your truck, and most of them will go in and make sure the tuning's good. And if we need to, we'll get rid of some shit tune that's on there or something. If we tune somebody's truck and there's a failure due to the tuning, we're going to warranty it just like if it was an installation error or a parts failure or anything else. Duh. I don't fucking get it. I don't understand how these guys get away with that kind of crap. You know? How do you prove it's the tune? I mean, well, I mean, let's put the shoe on the other foot. We've denied warranties over the years, and one of them was really recently. In fact, I'll tell you about one we just denied. And I got one more caller. I'll get to you here in just a second, brother. We have a ISX in here right now. We overhauled it. And about 7 months later, he brought it back, and it was something like this guy's talking about. You know, you could tell it roasted a couple pistons, head was all cracked out, and this and that. So, are you going to warranty this thing? And I was like, yeah, man. I mean, most likely. Let's look at what's going on with it and this and that. And I hooked the computer up to it and saw he never overheated it. You know, he didn't have any critical events for overheating. It's the first thing I checked. I mean, that's pretty standard protocol, right? And then I called the Canadians because we have them do our failure analysis. It's just part of our process. And I was like, hey, do a failure analysis for me, this and that. You know, I always want an outside party to do a failure analysis as well. So they did a failure analysis. They weren't even in the computer for a minute, and they're calling me like, hey, come over to the computer, and they start showing me, and they're like, look, this thing's turned up to like 800 fucking horsepower, dude. Like, dude, don't warranty this. This is the craziest tune we've ever seen ever in our lives. Like, the fuel numbers on it were so crazy. It was unbelievable. You know, and I called the guy and I was like, hey, we're not going to warranty this, dude. The tune absolutely destroyed it. And he's like, yeah, I took it and got it tuned about 2 months after you built it, or 3 months or whatever. He's like, I understand. Rebuild it again for me, will you? So we're rebuilding it again for him. But, you know, why doesn't it go the other way? You know, if I can deny a warranty off of a shit tune, why can't you go claim warranty on a shit tune? I'm just asking. I'm just saying. You know, guys are, you know, shops are quick to avoid a warranty over a tune. Why aren't they quick to stand behind a tune? Yeah, I mean, if they had to, you'd have a lot less fucking tunes destroying people's trucks. That's for sure. Mr. Greg, you're on the air, brother. What can we do for you?
Yes, sir. How you doing? I got a very interesting one here. I got a 1998 Volvo with the 1LW serial number 346E, the 550 horsepower. And about a year ago, I started losing power, and was not all at once. It was like slowly going away, then showing back up, going away, and now it's pretty much gone. Where I just cannot pull 80,000 pounds at all. So what I have done so far is I've taken everything off the engine, whatever parts. I replaced all the sensors, both harnesses, fuel pump, injectors, blah, blah, blah. And nothing's coming back. And again, we're going back to the tune. I changed 4 different tunes as well. More horsepower, less horsepower, and nothing's changing.
What kind of engine was it?
And the engine was overhauled about...
What kind of engine?
3406.
A 3406E?
Yes.
Gradual loss of power. And then eventually no power.
Yeah, I ran out of options. I don't know what to do.
Worn out engine will gradually lose power and can be putting up to 50, 75 horsepower into the crankcase. Are you sure your engine's just not done in?
No, the power is still like, even when I drive today, it still kind of shows up, but not fully though. And I have no blow by at all. I mean, I don't understand how to look at it.
Sure, I'm just, just poking around, right? I mean, how much oil do you have to add to it in between your oil changes?
I do it at 12,000 and usually about 3/4 of a gallon.
Okay.
And that's the thing, that where the oil engine starts getting black after like 5,000-6,000 miles.
And do
It
you
stays
have
clean.
do you have any oil leaks?
Not at all.
Okay. So you are using a little bit of oil, right? So you know, here's the thing. You know, your problem isn't insurmountable. There's just a few factors that have to do with power, obviously. Air, fuel. That's pretty much it, right? You don't have spark or anything like that. You're a diesel engine. Air and fuel. That's all you're looking at here, right? That could be exhaust restriction, that could be intake air restriction, that could be, I mean, you could have plugged ass air filters and be having this problem, right? You could have turbo fins ate up, either exhaust or intake side. That would cause your problems. You could have loss of fuel injector and one that's weak, 2 or 3 that are weak. These are old injectors. There's just a myriad of things. You could have low fuel pressure. Your fuel pump could be taking a shit on you. You gotta do some process of elimination. This is an old truck. If it is a 3406E, is it a 6TS or a 5EK?
I don't know about that. It's the serial number goes with 1LW.
Okay.
So I don't know which
So it's a 1LW. Perfect. A little bit newer than the two I was citing there. So good engine for sure. In your engine could be wore out. You could be quite a bit more wore out than you think you are, right? So process of elimination, injector cutout test. That's a good place to start, right? That doesn't cost anything typically.
I did all. Yeah, I did all that.
Okay. You changed your air cleaners.
The what again?
You changed your air cleaners, air filters.
Oh yeah, yes, everything. I changed everything on the engine.
You changed the turbo.
Yes, I did.
Okay, what kind of boost?
That's a lot of money that I put in, and
what kind of boost do you get?
Well, when the truck was running fine, I didn't even know the truck was. It was only going up to like 25, and it was today. Yeah, 33 psi right away. The engine doesn't have sound. It doesn't. It's cat engines are really loud. This one started to be really quiet. Fuel pressure is good because I drove it with the gauge on the windshield here. It doesn't go down. Everything is showing fine. Oil pressure is fine.
Fuel pressure.
I just ran out of option, and I don't even know what.
Fuel pressure is good.
Yes.
What does your muffler system look like? Is it straight pipe?
Yeah, straight pipe. I replaced that too.
Okay, so you're pretty much only left with sensors. Pretty much.
Yeah, all 8 of them I replaced them. There is nothing that I haven't replaced on it yet, except rebuild again.
Right, you're really only leaving one thing left, and that's you're putting most of your horsepower into your crankcase.
I see. Wasn't I supposed to get some type of blow by or something?
You're burning oil. And here's the other thing. You only really get, so here's the thing you need to remember, okay? And this is something I don't say often enough, right? Really bad blow-by can only really come from 2 things. Broken ring or a scored liner. Those would give you a really bad blow by. Okay. A worn out engine, on the other hand, won't give you really bad blow by because you still have good ring seat and all that. Right. And your worn out engine's not going to start showing the signs like of really bad blow by. But when you're under load and you're out there getting after it and you're putting 30 pounds of boost, like you just said, if that thing's worn out, shit tons of that combustion is going into the crankcase because you have so much pressure it's able to go past, right? Your CFM's going into the crankcase under load, and I don't mean load behind you, I mean under load on top of the piston, compared to sitting there at an idle, even if you're at the same RPM. Let's say you idle it up to 1500. That 1500 not under boost load is going to be 2 CFM possibly on a meter gauge. Now go out and put it under load where there's boost on it. That thing might jump up 8, 9. And you could be, you know, what horsepower rating is that real quick?
550.
Okay, so let me do some math really quick. 550. So 13.75 CFM is your absolute threshold on that engine before it's considered completely blown the fuck up, right? So if you're out there cranking at 30 PSI boost, and I put a meter gauge on that, and it was showing 14 CFM, it would be blowing the fuck up. And it doesn't mean, you know, and when we could drop it back down to an idle, it might go all the way back down to 2 CFM, right? So the only way to know for sure is to take it and put it on a dyno somewhere where they have a CFM machine along with their dyno that thing, and they'll be able to tell you if it's blown up. Sometimes that's the only way you can find out, man, is going to a dyno.
I got it. That thing, though.
Most places are not super expensive to do that. A couple $100, they'll throw it on a dyno. What state you in?
Washington State.
Okay, I don't know any places in Washington, but you know, ask around, look around, find a place, you know, and there's going to be somewhere close to you, I'm sure, where you can take it and get it into their shop and have them put it on the dyno and hook up the CFM machine, you know, and that number for you is 13.75. If you go over that, you're fucked. And I'm betting money you're probably going to go over that.
I got it. One other thing about this turbo thing. It used to whistle like a really clean whistle. And now the whistle is going with the airflow thing. It just changed the sound of the turbo.
Well, you changed your turbo, right?
Yeah. Can it be a bad turbo as well? Again?
I seriously doubt it, man. Seriously doubt it. I really think you have an underlying problem. This has been a gradual thing, which really makes me believe that your engine is wore out.
Oh, well. All righty. Thank you very much. You guys have a great night.
You too, brother. Have a good night. All righty then. Somebody said something back here. I wanted to look. So how do you know if somebody put a shitty tune on there if it you know, says 475? Because people that know what they're doing can go in and look at your VSLs, your VSMs, your fuel numbers, and all that stuff, and they can see all the things that have been changed. And people that are really good, like the people we use, they can tell you exactly what that file's doing, what that mapping's doing, what kind of horsepower it's actually putting out. Just because I can't doesn't mean that there aren't people that can, right? I've never had a tune in here ever that our guys in Canada weren't able to look at and be like, oh, yeah, this is a piece of shit, and here's why, or say this is great. And That's the main thing I like about the Canadians. You know, they hook up and they're like, "Oh, it's a great tune," you know, and they're not after your money. You know, like they don't like, "Oh, we're gonna put our tune on. It has to be our tune, our tune." They don't give a shit. If it's a good tune, they just leave it. You know, and that's great for our customers because you know if they don't have to spend money, that's great. So, yeah, I really think that guy's engine's worn out. That last caller. Anyway, I was just looking through the comment section, but great show. Thank you, man. That was a pretty good show. It's a little unfortunate we lost our TikTokers. Can the Canadians check a delete tune? I'm sure they can. There's a lot of good places in Canada. Here's what you guys need to know if you're trying to find a good tuner for yourself in Canada. The western side of Canada, they do not have any regulation on the western side of Canada. The eastern side of Canada is just like California. They'll throw you in jail, you know, for deleting your truck and anything, you know, just like all the stuff they do here. But the other half of Canada, it's not regulated at all. So those guys can go to school for it. Like literally, they'll go to get a college degree on tuning trucks. And that's why Canada has the best tuners, is because depending on where you're at in Canada, it's completely legal. And they set up storefront, whole business, you know, and like the place I use literally has like 15 employees, right? It's like an official business and this and that. And, you know, and you go to the other side of Canada and they'll throw you in prison for it. It's silly. You know, it's kind of, it's like, but here, you know, it's all bad here. So, at least half of their country, you can do what you want. So that's nice. So anyway, if you're looking for Canadians, make sure they live in that area where it's legal for them. And then you have a pretty good chance that they know what they're doing. Custom truck and custom truck's great. Do I sell wiring harnesses for engine conversions? Chad Bell asked me, and then Paul told him custom truck in Oregon. He is correct. They are the best place to go, hands down, for any of that kind of stuff. What's required for a remote hookup? You gotta have all the programs, man. You gotta have CAT ET, or let's say you're trying to do a CAT. You gotta have you know, you gotta have all your CAT programs. You gotta have all your Cummins programs, and then you gotta have team viewers so they can take over your computer and do everything. So Manitoba and West is good. Ontario East is fucked. Yep. He's got that right. Glenn Long, the block stiffener plate. What about it? What about the block stiffener plate, buddy? The block stiffener plates, man, they were not expecting us to sell the amount that we did as fast as we did, and we really fucked them up, the mom and pop operation there. But they finally got it figured out, and we're gonna. I mean, we had to call fucking 50 people back and tell them cancel their orders, give them their money back, and tell them to call us in a couple weeks. But we finally got it figured out, and we have a 4 on the anyway, there we go. So we got like 40 of them on the way, and we're going to start doing the item fulfillment ourselves, because it's just, you know, the old man is handed it over to his daughter, and she's so overwhelmed. So it's a full-time job just for her to try and figure out getting them to us, let alone trying to have her do the item fulfillment is not working out. So we're going to start being item fulfillment for them. And so we're just purchasing like 40 of them at a time. And that's the only way it's going to work. So if anybody out there got a stiffener plate from us, give us about a week. and we'll have them in stock and ready to ship, and we'll be able to keep up with everybody because we have a lot of people here, not just one person like they have. So anyway, guys, appreciate y'all. Y'all have a good night. I will see you on the next round next week. Let's see, next week we should have some cool stuff out. We're this close to our injectors. We're this close to our I got our prototype manifold today. Our prototype turbo is supposed to be here Monday. We do have a good prototype already. The cold side's powder coated. Everything's just like we wanted. It's the same turbos we've been coating ourselves, but they're still trying to perfect the ceramic coating on the hot housing for us. We're supposed to have that on Monday. So, and I just got word back today that the 20th is the date for our kits to finally debut. So, before this month's over, we will have a full product line. Pretty excited about it. I can't wait. Been a long wait. So I guess I can wait. I've already waited. It's almost been exactly a year or so. Anyway, when are we starting to move to the new shop? We take possession February 1st, but I am going to continue to lease this place for at least 2 months, guys. I want to, I can afford to do that. So, if I give myself that much time, it will be so stress-free. We'll just kind of move at our leisure, and we'll start moving stuff over, have some guys start moving, and we'll continue to finish stuff up here. And at some point we'll be doing stuff in both shops, and then we'll gradually just be in that shop. It'd be so much easier if we do it like that. So that's the plan. Do we have a plan to sell our kits, X15 engine kits in Alberta, Canada? I do have a plan for that. Double D. I don't know if you follow him on social media. He's a Canadian mechanic up there that is just getting into reselling overhaul kits. We're probably going to link up with him and have him start stocking our kits up there. That's the plan, because he's working with Tony, and we are working with Tony. So we're going to work it out to where he can get access to our kits, so the Canadians can get access to our kits, and we cannot deal with trying to do all these tariffs and shit one kit at a time. So yeah, that's the first thing we're going to do. As soon as we take possession, I'm going to get the internet boys over there and have them get fiber hooked up and all that. We should, and once we have, and we'll have 3-phase power. Can't wait. Everything's so much better about it. But once we have some good fiber and we're running badass fast internet like I have at my house, then we'll start focusing on having a lot more guests. Anyway, guys, getting late. I'm doing it to myself this time. So, you guys have a good night. I'll see you next week. Love you long time.